I'm Stephen John Drew from the official GonnaGeek.com podcast, a proud member of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the one you're listening to now. The opinions expressed are those of each individual. Check out other geeky podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com and get ready because geekiness begins in 3, 2, 1.
Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 555 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. My name is Chris. I am here with you tonight for the triple nickel of podcasts. Yes, we're going to go with triple nickel. I like that. It popped in my head, and I'm going with it. But yeah, like I said, my name is Chris. We're joined, I'll start first with the usual band of misfits. We'll start first, Mr. Willie D. Nelson.
Hey, it's Willie. It's you. How you doing?
Hopefully well is what I would hope. And then, of course, as per the usual, Mr. Anthony Bachman.
Oh, there's 3 nickels. I want my nickel back.
No, nobody wants nickel back.
I don't mind Nickelback.
I'll rock some Nickelback.
No.
I don't mind Nickelback. I'm not going 100% out of my way to get more Nickelback.
That Spider-Man hero song
We all want to live like Fat Rock.
by Chad Kroeger was awesome.
So,
now that you guys have made me sad inside. No, you can't sing. We'll get takedown notices. No.
But come on, whoever remembers that Spider-Man song, go ahead. Go ahead if you remember it. Like, I even know lyrics. I don't even think Chad Kroeger remembers the lyrics. Or the dude from Saliva. I think that was the other guy, right? I think it was the guy from Saliva and Chad Kroeger came together to make that song, but I'm not sure.
We need a hero to save us.
And I'm not going to stand here and wait.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm really sorry. I don't know how I follow up such stellar singing to introduce our guest of the evening. It is his birthday. You may know him formerly from Arthouse Legends podcast. You may know him as recurring guest on the Hey I Like podcast. We've got Kent joining us tonight. Happy birthday, Kent.
Hi. And if I could, I'd reach over here and tell you to look at this photograph.
God damn it. I hate you all again. Every one of you. 1, 2, 3.
Chris, did you know every time I look at that photograph, it makes me laugh?
I actually found that entertaining, but I had to facepalm at the same time too.
I had to figure out which way the stage left.
I mean, I hate, but not as much as I thought I would by going down this Nickelback path.
Haha, motherfucker.
Well, I mean, I still hate. I'm not a Nickelbacker, or I'm not a backer of Nickel. What's the Nickelback fan called?
Nickelback is
all I hear is you're getting your knickers in a twist.
That would imply that I'm wearing knickers, Willie.
I mean, aren't we all? Isn't that just pants?
Willie, how do you know what I'm wearing below chest level? You can't see anything below like my sternum.
Oh, guesswork.
You don't know what's going on down there.
I'm just guessing, man. I don't really care. I'm assuming you are.
I mean, cameras behind you.
It could be pajama pants. It could be boxers. It could be a banana hammock. It could be nothing. Knickers. You don't know.
I mean, you do know basketball loves knickers, right?
Knickerbockers?
Knickerbockers.
Bam. Knickerbockers. That's what the New York Knicks are named after. The Knickerbockers.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
But
I always found that so funny. Like, because I always wonder, like, where did Knicks come from? What does that mean? And Knickerbockers.
You were saying Knicks. You were saying, oh, God, I got all twisted now. What were you saying? Now I'm all confused.
Knickers,
yeah. And that's just underpants.
Knickerbockers.
Oh, it's underpants? I thought it was just pants.
If you're British, your knickers are your underpants.
Yeah, like knickers are underpants. Knickerbockers were actual pants.
Yeah.
Like pants.
You know
and
what?
underpants.
Maybe these words just die in the past because they're just not useful anymore.
I mean, there's a reason why we don't really use the word knickers.
Yeah.
Or
if you hear it fast, it sounds like a worse word, probably.
Your grandmas.
But yeah. Etymology is fun, though, everybody.
Hey, we've talked about words a lot on this show, and it's generally Willie that brings up words, I've realized. Maybe we need a new segment, Words with Willie.
Words are fun.
You used an analogy of painting with words at one point in time that I don't remember, but I have a clip stored away of it somewhere.
Well, that was the last couple episodes too.
I never remember the things I say. I just hope they're good when it comes out.
It's the way to live.
Is it?
Let me worry.
Why
It's
worry?
the way to record.
Just speak from the soul and be honest. Unless you're an asshole, then you probably don't want to be honest.
Then shut the fuck up.
Look, nobody likes an asshole is all I'm saying. Unless it's in comedy. Because comedic stuff, you get away more with being an asshole.
As long as you're funny.
And then, yeah, if you're funny. If you're not funny and you're an asshole, you're just an asshole.
As long as you're being an asshole and making sure everyone's in on the joke of it being an asshole, then yeah.
Yeah.
But
Some of my favorite comedy.
some people aren't, and you're being an asshole, and they're seeing you as an asshole, then maybe you're just an asshole.
You got to be a good comedian to pair off dark humor with being an asshole, too, because that's like two tough things.
I'm an asshole.
But are you an expert in dark humor?
I don't know anymore.
Are you having a moment of self-reflection or doubt here? I'm confused.
I'm just existing.
What about that photograph?
It makes me laugh.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going with this. I apologize, everyone. I'm a bit punchy this evening. It's been a long day of work. Had a bunch of stuff to get done. And now I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, it's 8 o'clock and I'm sleepy and I need more caffeine. It's a problem.
I mean, speaking of caffeine, let's get this new dew.
Oh,
I don't think it's new, but I think they re-released it. Baja Blast
Why is Baja Blast red?
Punch. No, Point Break
Drop.
Punch.
Cool.
I'll say, didn't they do
Point
like
Break
3
Punch.
versions of it?
Yeah, there's like also like a pineapple one. I think I think they're just re-coming out with them for the summer. I don't know. They did it like a couple months ago, back in
Well,
like the
Yeah.
late
They did.
fall.
We'll bring back
They
our
did that
informal
last-
segment.
Cheer.
We'll have our informal
They had,
segment
like,
of Willie's
sticks of
do
them.
review. Willie, what's the verdict on this do?
Remember when I said they did it a couple months ago? Because we did a review on it.
Oh, did we?
Months ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like we should plan these things out.
It's Baja Blast. It's good. There.
You want some blasphemy? I don't like Baja Blast.
Well, maybe you might like Fruit Punch version of it.
I say, yeah. Which one?
Any of them. Just give me code red if I can have it. That's my due.
No,
I'm not gonna
you
lie.
can't
That's the one that gets old the fastest. Like
I mean,
I can
Ideally-
go with a different thing.
ideally
Where's the
give me
Robitussin out to get this taste out of my mouth.
ideally just give me Halo 3 game fuel again, but I don't think they're ever making that one.
I guess they don't want to print money. I guess not printing money. I guess
Probably
it's spritzing
Pouring
out
money.
money. There it is.
Spraying out money. You could just do it like
Spritzing.
Stone Cold Steve Austin style when he had the beer truck. Just come out with a dew truck and spray things down.
There you
Think
go.
all that money. All that money. Kurt Angle did it with a milk truck. I mean, it's not like it hasn't been reused. It was Milkomania, if I remember the Jim Ross call.
Excuse me. I need to look up where PepsiCo's headquarters are right quick because I think it's in my state, and I have a marketing idea for them. I have a marketing idea for them.
Well, while Willie looks that up, why don't we transition ourselves over into the news of the week?
All right.
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the news of the week.
Welcome to the news of the week. It is that part of the show where we run down what's in our minds some of the most interesting geeky and or nerdy news to have popped up here in the past week or so. We'll chat about it, give our opinions, and share it with you guys watching live or listening at a later date. If you're watching us live right now, please feel free, chime away in the chat room. We'll be sure to pull up your comments and address them as we're discussing stuff. We've got some interesting news topics this week. We've got some that some people may not like, and hey, that's fine. We don't care. We're going to talk.
Happens.
We're
Get used to
going
it.
to talk about topics that people may not always like. It's our show.
We didn't make it happen.
Or did we? We've made movies happen, so don't underestimate our power.
Are you telling me I can have the
Pain and
abilities of the
gain.
Mothman?
Oh man, he's got glutes of steel too.
I can be the Mothman.
Yeah, you want to come? You can come visit. We'll go see Mothman. It's just down the
Hold
road
on
from
a
me.
second.
A few
That
hours.
little old lady told Carol Ann to never go to the light, but can I?
Sure, why not?
Well, yeah, especially if you're the Mothman.
Did you see that someone cracked the Mothman this week? Are you guys familiar with the
Context.
Ass Crack Bandit episode of Community?
Is that anything like the Magic the Gathering scandal that happened?
No, but the
Okay.
whole concept there is there was a character by the name of the Ass Crack Bandit that was never found out that liked to put quarters down people's pants when they bent over to pick things up.
Oh, that's right.
Someone cracked the Mothman because if you haven't seen the Mothman statue, he's got very well defined glutes. So someone cracked him after they put a tramp stamp on him a couple weeks back.
Okay, I have a question. Is
Quest.
this statue a real life thing or is this in Community?
This is a real life thing. The statue.
Okay, and they gave him
No.
glutes. Okay, I think I know what you're
Yes.
talking about. Okay. I
Let
wasn't
me
sure
see
you're
if
still
I-
going to-
I will get you a statue picture so that you can see. I'm trying to find
The
one that
Mothman's
has.
glutes.
It's on the r/West Virginia because we were laughing about him getting cracked.
That's so bright, I gotta wear shades.
Yeah. There's a crack in his crack.
Right. Reddit. I have to go to the Reddit real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, this is not Reddit. Yeah, it is Reddit. God damn. What is wrong with me today? I apologize.
Chris is having a day.
It didn't look like Reddit when it loaded, but I'm so used to just looking at it in the app, I think that, oh, no, I'm not logged in. That would be why.
This Reddit isn't Reddit. What the hell, Reddit?
This Reddit is not
Read this
Redditing.
Reddit. Who will read this Reddit? Not I say. Not I.
All right.
It shall
I
be
do not
you.
like green eggs and ham.
I'm going a long way to
It
get
shall
this
be
gag.
you.
away.
Who I am.
But
Mhm.
by who? I don't know. I'm just going on with some susery.
Ah, the susery.
All right. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. All right. Here we go. Because I can screen share.
Pupping.
Here you guys
I'm
go.
almost afraid of what we're gonna see.
This is from r/West Virginia. People need to stop putting quarters in Mothman's ass. And Mothman got cracked. You can see that quarter right between them ass cheeks on the Mothman statue.
That's a pretty big statue too.
So
Holy
I have
moly.
questions. Is this in West Virginia I'm taking
yeah.
it?
Yes,
or
it
is this
is.
in the Denver airport?
This is in West Virginia.
No, the
You
one
know
that
what I
Denver
mean,
Airport's alive.
And if
All
you
the
look
statues in the
alive?
Denver Airport are.
if you look faintly right here above the crack, you can see the remnants of the giant decal that someone had put there when they tramp stamped Mothman like 2 weeks ago.
Don't
The
they have a
things you
camera
learn on the
Mothman
All Things
24/7?
Good and Nerdy podcast. We're here to help.
There's a camera pointed at that at all times. They know who did this.
Yeah, but I mean, if you cracked Mothman, who really cares? He's just setting a quarter there. I think the decal might have been a bigger deal because you are potentially damaging because the adhesive could ruin the finish or whatever kind of protectant or whatnot may be on there. But I think cracking Mothman's good old fashioned fun. And then you can play the Ben Folds song that they made on Community about the Ass Crack Bandit, which is legit a Ben Folds 5 song that was written by them about the Ass Crack Bandit.
Nice.
Ooh.
I need to rewatch Community. It's been too long.
It'll be on Peacock starting April 1st if you have Peacock.
Not currently. Maybe I'll get it back this summer.
Because they get the Community movie when it comes out.
Oh yeah,
The movie
Five-
films this summer.
5 seasons in a movie,
Oh,
Six
believe when I see
seasons
it.
in
or
a movie.
6 seasons in a movie.
6.
Like I said, see, it's been too long. I even got the quote wrong.
I guess it has. All right, let's get to the actual news of things. I'll kick off with mine, and then we'll build our way up to Willie's news because that's the one that people will
Okay.
most be likely to react to if they happen upon our show by chance.
Fair enough.
Well, let's start by talking people that are mad for no good reason. But hey, did you guys see this week that they dropped a trailer, a stealth drop that I didn't know was happening for the new Star Wars Disney Plus series, The Acolyte?
Hell yeah. That trailer was awesome.
I'll sit back because I'm not the Star Wars fan of this podcast. So,
So I think this will actually be an interesting one for folks that are not super big on the current lore and stuff, because for those unaware, the Acolyte takes place before the fall of the Republic, 100 years before what we saw in the Phantom Menace. So no Skywalkers. It's an original story set during what they call
further long ago.
Even further long ago, but still in a galaxy far, far away, not far, far, far away.
In a galaxy.
Yeah. The same galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
Just a question popped in my head. I know it's tangential, but have they ever stated how long that long ago is? Like,
no.
What exact? Okay, just curious.
No.
So for those unaware,
Vague on purpose.
The Acolyte trailer dropped, and this is a show that is set during the High Republic era, which is where they've been writing books and comics right now of the era before the rise of the Empire, before the rise of Palpatine, things like that, when the Jedi were at their peak in the Old Republic. And what this is introducing here is someone's killing Jedi, and it seems like a dark kind of take on there's something out here, and we don't know what it is that's taking us out. But we're getting to see what looks like a lot of cool Jedi experiences. The cast looks really cool. For instance, Carrie Ann Moss is playing a Jedi Master in this. So we have Jedi Master Trinity. Daphne Keene, who you might remember as X-23 and Laura from Logan, is playing a human alien hybrid Jedi.
Yeah, the name, as soon as you said it, I was like, I know that name. Keene, Daphne Keene. I know that. Where's it from? Oh, yeah.
Manny Jacinto from The Good Place has a role in it. The cast is pretty loaded on this, but if you weren't paying attention, there was a lot of fans that were a lot of people like, hey, this looks pretty cool, a new Star Wars story. But of course, there's nobody that hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans. Where's the controversy? Well, because angry neckbeards have to get mad about something. It has to do with an interview that showrunner Leslie Headland did regarding the writer's room that she had assembled for Star Wars The Acolyte. Yeah, Kent, you probably know this one now because it was going around on social media, and I don't know if Bachman and Willie are familiar with this one because I'm not sure how much attention they've been paying to it. But she did an interview with The Hollywood Reporter where she was talking about the trailer, and when it came to talking about assembling her writer's room and the people she wanted in there, there was a quote. She said, "I just thought it would be good to have the perspective of a person that has literally never seen Star Wars until she was in the room." One of her writers, this is. And the writer said to me, "Why do you want me in this room? I've never seen Star Wars. I have no idea. I think there's a dog in it, but I don't know anything." And I was like, first of all, you're an incredible writer, but that's why I want you here. I want you to be questioning the narrative. She continued and said, "I don't want myself, who's a lifelong fan, to just be relying on particular references in order to create emotional beats. I want those emotional beats to be earned and checked by someone that isn't super familiar with it." You know, we're pretty rational human beings on this show. We don't often just react from the gut and make idiots of ourselves. When you hear about a showrunner talking about their show and saying, "Hey, I wanted someone who's not a fan to be part of the writer's room," and you hear an explanation like that, which is effectively they have a perspective that can help us. What's your initial takeaway, guys, when you hear that? Let's start first with Kent, our guest. When you hear something like that from the showrunner, what do you think about that?
On paper, as in first instinct, it sounds like a mistake, but then you think about it for 4 seconds and you realize it's a writer's room. They're not handing her something and saying, "Hey, person that's never seen this, write the whole episode by yourself." It's you're in the room. That way, this is somebody that can look at somebody and say, "Why is this character doing this? What's their motivation again? This doesn't make any sense why this person would do this." It doesn't matter. There are some character things that doesn't matter if you're in a galaxy far, far away sci-fi setting or a modern rom-com or something else. If somebody's about ready to do something stupid, having somebody say, "That doesn't make any sense. Why would they do that?" is fine.
I mean, that would be
Just
my
sit
take.
there and question what somebody's motivation is.
All right, so let's go around. Let's go around the horn. Bachman, what's your initial take on their thought of, "I want someone who's not a fan in my writer's room," and the reasoning they gave?
No, it makes complete and utter sense because it's that thing where you can have a Dave Filoni in the room. You can have who's the guy that did the voice of Darth Maul? That kid that knows everything. Sam Witwer.
Yeah.
Kid knows everything about Star Wars. He got hired because as he was doing an acting role, they were like, why are you, he was supposed to be, I can't remember which character it was, but he was like straining as he was supposed to be meditating. And they're like, I think it was The Apprentice. And they're like, why are you like so like you're straining, like you're making it like difficult and stuff. Why aren't you being calm? He's like, this character was taught by Darth Vader to meditate. He would think you have to force your way to do it. And like everybody in the room was like, this kid knows more about Star Wars than we do. Hire him. Like that's one of the reasons like he became like so big in it. But at the same time, if you had somebody else were watching him do that and he explains it, they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense to me now. If that person has no knowledge of Star Wars and someone like that can explain it to them, then you know the general audience, if they just, this is a random show they hit play on Disney Plus and they've never seen a Star Wars movie, the story should still make sense to them. You should not have to have, it's what people complain about with, I love with the Marvel films, it's its continuity. They made 23 movies in a row, but you can't watch Avengers Endgame if you don't know who the fuck Iron Man is. Like if you can't.
Fair.
Like it's just, you're going to be missing too much. You should be able to turn on the Acolyte, hit play, and maybe know, like if you have a basis of knowing that Jedi are good guys, that's really all you should need to know to watch this show. And so if you bring in a writer that's basically all they know, then that person's not going to fall, like just buy anything you throw at them if it doesn't make sense. That's a great way to catch your storytelling, to make sure that the general audience will understand everything you're putting on screen.
And so I wanted to wrap things up with you going last, Willie, because you are self-described as probably the least of a Star Wars fan out of any of us on here. You've seen the movies once, and you kind of have a passing interest when we discuss it. But as someone who may not be super interested in the Acolyte, or maybe you are after hearing about it, how do you feel, or what's your thought on their description as to why they would want a non-Star Wars fan in the writer's room?
Well, I mean, for a multitude of reasons. One of them being which that if you have nothing but fans, people are in on it, they probably would tend to forget that this is Star Wars is just a setting. It has props. It's a place. Place is technically, but you get what I mean. And the props of all of it, the characters within it, those are all, things. I mean, you could tell a lot of different types of stories in that. They did a detective noir in it. They could do anything, and so just keep that in mind. So it keeps it, I guess, grounded, and especially it does help out with throwing out continuity errors or something out there. Like, wait, didn't you guys do that thing? What didn't that cross out this? Like, that didn't make sense.
Well, I mean, they also have folks that are assigned to go and double check the continuity issues and stuff like that, because they have, what was it, the storytelling group or whatever I think Lucasfilm had at one point in time.
Yeah.
Whose
and
job
most
it was.
films and shows have a technical advisor too.
Let's see if this starts an argument. Was Snoke just Palpatine? Was that just Palpatine's conscience? Or was that a whole other ass person? I still don't know.
Well, it depends on which showrunner or which director you go with for their interpretation.
It was allegedly a bad clone of Palpatine.
But it was still his mind in there.
Palpatine was the puppet master of it, I believe what they changed it into.
Okay.
Oh, by the ninth film?
Yeah, by the ninth film, I think is what it was. But
depending on the movie you watch.
So I think we are all of a similar mindset that when it comes to what they're talking about with the Acolyte here, there's value to having someone who is not a fan, who is not going to get distracted by, oh my God, I'm doing Star Wars. I can't believe I'm doing Star Wars. Who's more being like, well, these moments need to be earned. How do we make them earned? I understand this character is a Jedi. I don't understand any of the lore or anything behind it, but why do we care that this character went and did this? Because they're a Jedi. I think that perspective in the room is good. Yeah, the internet doesn't. Go figure. There's a bunch of people that you can probably guess what platform most of these people were on discussing it. They were talking about the fact this is just further proof that Star Wars has lost its way because they're getting a writer's room with people who aren't fans of Star Wars. And then they construe that into it being, or misconstrue that into not being a fan means they hate Star Wars. And it's all part of Kathleen Kennedy's agenda, blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting here and I'm going, wow.
Well, you see how I just asked about the whole Snoke thing? Me, who's seen probably those trilogies, I've seen all the third trilogy, maybe all once. Maybe I saw the first one twice. Maybe the second one, maybe twice. I don't fully remember. But either way, like, I'm still confused by Snoke, and I watched it. I'm still confused. So you tell me if that's still a bad thing or a good thing, seeing what happened. So be confused or be so blind, like have it so in front of your face you can't look around it.
Of course, with people acting rationally, they have to respond in the most rational manner to describe their opinions. They rant about it on social media in ways that aren't quite accurate. And then they go and really hard push that thumbs down button on YouTube. Because I guess, remember, YouTube obscures the thumbs down button, but you can sort of work your way around it with some extensions and stuff to be able to see what it is. It now has become one of Disney's most downvoted videos on YouTube. But at the same time, Disney also, or Lucas also kind of came out and said something to the effect of, and I don't know if I'm 100% getting this right. It's either one of their most watched or their most watched Star Wars Disney Plus trailers that they've put on YouTube in the Acolyte. So I don't understand. Again, this is another instance of no one hates Star Wars more than the people that claim to be Star Wars fans at this point in time. I think
what's our rule, Chris? What's our rule?
If you spend more time hating something than you do liking it, you're not a fan anymore.
There you go.
I think that's what we have here. I don't understand how people get twisted into thinking that everyone in the writer's room has to be a fan, because I'm sure if you go and look at many of these other shows that are out there, like the X-Men 97 writer's room or the Battlestar Galactica writer's room or the Star Trek Voyager writer's room, not everyone was a fan of the properties. In fact, for Voyager, Ron Moore notoriously was on record of hating Star Trek Voyager, and he quit because he hated it so much doing Star Trek Voyager, and was in the writer's room for many years and had been in the writer's room of Next Gen and Deep Space Nine and stuff like that. You don't have to be a fan to be in the writer's room, and arguably you might have a different, and I'm not saying necessarily a better, but a more informative perspective for everyone else by not being a fan, because you'll ask questions that fans may just gloss over because they know all the intricacies of lore, or they just don't think about it because it's, holy shit, I can't believe I'm working on this product or this property that I've been a fan of since I was 3 years old or some nonsense like that. I'm just baffled by the stupid reasons that Star Wars fans find to hate Star Wars stuff. And this is up at the top of that. I think the show is going to suck because one of the writers in a writer's room is not a fan of Star Wars. Just one. And how many writers in a writer's room? Probably 6,
depending
8,
on the side.
Depending on
with the new contract, it's like a minimum of 5, I think.
Yeah, so 6 to 12 writers potentially. So we're talking somewhere between a 6th to a 12th of your writers aren't fans of the properties potentially. And this is just one writer that the showrunner mentioned specifically. For all we know, there could be other folks, and they're like, Star Wars is okay. I don't really care, but I want a paycheck, and this sounds like it'd be interesting to work on.
Yeah, and you don't have to be a huge fan of something to be a good writer on it. The two are not mutually exclusive. And like Willie said, Star Wars is a setting. We've gotten, Rogue One is a war movie. It's set in the Star Wars universe. That is a war film. Freaking Rogue One was awesome. Freaking Solo was a heist film. With a little bit of comedy in it, whether you like, the actors in it or not. Like, we've gotten all these alternate. And what's the one? Because they just did the spy thriller on Disney Plus, and I can't think of what the hell that show was called.
Andor.
You got a dark, twisted political spy thriller. Star Wars. It's all Star Wars. It's just like when we got freaking Peyton Reed took over from Edgar Wright and did Ant-Man. Ant-Man is not a superhero movie. Ant-Man is a heist film that's a comedy. And there's some superpowers in it. That's one of the reasons it's one of the best Marvel films out there, is because they weren't trying to make a superhero movie. They were just trying to make a good heist movie, and Ant-Man happens to be in it. Give me a badass, bunch of Jedis going around protecting the galaxy, afraid because there's some monster out there murdering them. Sounds fun to me.
Yeah. One last thing I wanted to bring up on that. Well, two last things, I guess. Drops on June 4th is when the show comes out. So we're a couple months out. But one of the things I thought was really interesting is the showrunner, Headland, had mentioned that in comparison to other Star Wars shows, they did not use the volume at all, meaning everything was done with practical sets and stuff like that. And I know there had been some folks that have had some concerns that they've been leaning a bit too hard on the volume to do things. And while the volume is a powerful tool, it eventually becomes sort of noticeable how some of the shots are set up in there. So I think it's pretty cool that there's, by their account, no use of the volume, everything using practical sets and stuff like that. So I think that's pretty neat. I'm interested to see this show. And and I also can understand why some people may not care because they're like, this is all characters I don't know set before everything I know. Cool. You don't have to watch it and you'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But if you choose to watch it, you'll probably have fun.
I watched that trailer twice. I love me some Carrie Ann Moss seeing Jedi Trinity. Like, I'm all for it. I had no idea that was Daphne Keene. I did not know that was X-23 as like the alien looking. Like, I gotta go watch that trailer again. I'm so excited for this show. I was looking at the posters and stuff on IMDb. Like the first poster, in an age of light, a darkness rises, and it's like blood streaking into a lightsaber. This is like the closest thing we're getting to a horror film in the Star Wars universe, I think. This looks fucking awesome. Yeah, I'm more excited now. Hell yeah. Bring on the Acolyte. Let's go.
Look, this is something that I have talked about wanting before in Star Wars and some other properties too, which is move me away from everything that I know. And specifically in Star Wars, I'm ready for stories that don't involve the Skywalkers. That's what I'm getting here. So I'm curious to see what they do with it. Now, admittedly, I wish they went forward in time because I'm more curious about how the galaxy continues to change from what we saw. But I'm also intrigued to see what the Jedi Order at its peak would look like, what the Republic at its peak would look like before the moral corruption, the rot and decay that took hold, before Palpatine manipulated everyone into creating his army and then creating his grand empire. I want to see what this is. I'm really intrigued.
Well, and plus that we're also getting, supposedly Patty Jenkins is back on for doing the Rogue Squadron movie, which, you know what I'm really hoping? Because let's be honest, Top Gun Maverick is just Star Wars. I'm really hoping that the Rogue Squadron movie is just Top Gun. I think she just takes that first Top Gun movie and just does it with spaceships. Bam. $1 billion.
Look, when it comes to the Rogue Squadron movie, I'm just not going to believe it until I see it. I'll be honest here.
Yeah,
at this point in time.
Supposedly she's back on it. Like, I would love to see a Patty Jenkins Rogue Squadron movie. I think that'd be fantastic. With what she was able to do with World War I with Wonder Woman, I think she could make a badass Rogue Squadron movie. But yeah, till I see a trailer, who knows? But fingers crossed, I would really like to see it. Because, yeah, we just saw Top Gun did a Star Wars movie. Come on now.
So before we wrap up on this one, I know Bachman and I have both kind of talked that we're pretty interested in seeing this. Let's finish going around the table. I'm going to toss it over to Kent and say, hey, Kent, is Star Wars Acolyte something you're looking forward to seeing at this point in time based off what we've seen?
So far, yeah. I'm kind of surprised it's hitting so soon, but because I thought it was still half a year out. But
so did I, to be honest. I didn't realize it was this close.
Always going to be. There's always people though that as long as I for the last like 5 years, every other week on YouTube, the same people are posting videos saying how Catherine Kennedy is about to be thrown out.
Still there.
People just hate her. Yeah.
And yet she still has a job.
Yeah.
And these people still get millions of views because they're just feeding on the hate.
Rage bait.
They are the dark side.
No.
YouTube is the dark side.
So, well, let's finish it up with Willie. You haven't seen the trailer, I don't think, unless I'm understood there. From what we've talked about, does it sound like something that would interest you? Or at the very least, are you interested enough to go check out the trailer after hearing about it?
I mean, I'm interested, but I'm not going to lie. I don't have access to Disney Plus, and I don't think this is going to make me go out and look for it.
Okay, that's a fair statement too. And I'll be honest here. I have prepaid accidentally for another year of Disney Plus, and I would be in a similar situation as Willie, where this is not enough to make me go subscribe, but whenever I would turn it back on to binge something I wanted to watch, it would be on my list of things to binge.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I would check it out. Yeah. I mean, X-Men 97 might be more of a thing, but even then, wait till it's all out.
Oh God, it's so good. Spoiler alert. The one I'm going to talk about.
Aren't they releasing it one episode a week?
After the first two. They drop 2 episodes for the first week, and then it's 1 episode a week.
Yeah.
I can wait then. I guess, what, 8 weeks then in total?
8 more weeks.
9 weeks? 9 weeks.
Well, there's 8 left. There's 8 left to drop because they did 2 episodes in week 1.
I was told there'd be no
Well,
math.
9 in total is what I meant. So
Oh,
9
okay.
weeks.
Yes, you're making
Total.
my brain hurt though because you're making me talk
'Cause
about
you just
math.
got to count the start as 1, not 0.
No math. No math.
Because you don't start with nothing. You start with something.
Shh, no math.
And that's more word problem.
Shh, no riddles. You're not the Riddler.
No.
1 plus
I
1.
wish I
plus 1
was,
is
though.
2.
He's cool.
Which one?
He's green.
I don't know if the Riddler and
He's
the
super
Batman was
green.
really that cool.
He's green like emerald.
He's
I do
super
like
green.
emeralds.
Green, super green.
No, which he won't know this. He'll
I
just
know.
think we're talking about something else.
I know what you're talking about. Just because you said I wouldn't know what you're talking
Crystal green.
about. I could do logic puzzles based off things I know you're mad about me for.
Of these I am not. Fire, wind, earth, and rock.
Well, that wraps up my story about people being
Oh, that
mad
sounds
about
right.
dumb things. I'm going to toss things over to Willie. Willie wants to talk to us about people being mad about dumb things too.
I wouldn't say it's dumb things. I just think.
Yeah, I worded it poorly.
Throw that out and be on the bus like that. I'm just going to put words in my mouth. I just don't see the controversy that they're saying is there to pre-efforts it since I had to.
Okay, so let me try and correct what I said. Willie's going to talk to us about the fact that people are spun up and angry about something that I don't think there's malicious intent behind, where people are ascribing malicious intent or unfeelingness. Is that
Let
fair?
me tell you what's going on, and you be the judge, not you.
There you
or
go.
you, as
I
in the
like this
listeners.
idea.
So, I guess headline: Dead by Daylight comes out with new killer. Controversy ensues. Claims of transphobia. Dun dun dun. Is that song all right? Is that fair use? I think so, right? We'll just go with it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So Dead by Daylight has a new killer recently. It just came out called The Unknown. It personally, before we get in all that, I think it's a pretty balanced killer. I have fun going against it. It's no Dredge, who I do not have fun going against because, visual game I like to see, but that's neither here nor there. The controversy comes out from a voice actor who did the voice for the character. And they are a trans voice actor, and they have come to say that they did not know the character was going to be as it was when it came out, which was slightly confusing for me. And we'll get into why. They had a whole long Twitter
thread.
What do you call them? Thread? They call? I don't know what they're called on Twitter. Just a post, like a
Okay.
long post, but it's since been deleted. So take it with a grain of salt of all that, of how they still feel. But in a long statement, which appears to have since been deleted, she accuses Behavior Interactive of basing the character on her trans identity and describes the cheerleader man in a dress character skin as transphobic, adding that she believes she has been put physically at risk by the developer's choices. And Chris, if you can help me out with the pink shirt.
The pink shirt's what we want right now. Yes.
Yep. This is the image. If you're watching the cast, if you're listening, I'm so sorry. It is kind of a visual thing here, but I mean, yeah. When you do see it, the character. Let me scroll down here so I can get this. The unknown. The character of the unknown is described as having no gender, but is an inhuman entity that adapts its appearance as needed. In the game, the creature is, and once again, creature is depicted as a tall, bent, twisted, and malformed humanoid with a voice that moves between masculine and feminine. So in the lore of the context of the story, it's not even a human. It's just a thing that feeds on humans and wears their skin as a way to get more, to devour more. So seeing it as all this, it's kind of, I don't get where the logic is what I'm getting at, if that makes sense.
So it's not to discount the person's feelings in regards to this. It's just, I see where you're coming from, where when you look at it from a lore perspective, you go, I don't understand how you get from that point to this point. I think that's fair. Is that a fair way of putting it?
Oh yeah. Let's see it. Yeah, so and if you can go back, if you can go to the previous one, which is the default skin, which as you can see back to back is not that different in my eyes. Those two skins, because since they themselves in the article, I guess quoted as saying that pink shirt skin with the cheerleader. If you look at them side by side, it looks like behavior just cut corners and kind of used a lot of the similar body. What do they call it when you model a 3D object? What is it called?
3D modeling.
When they modeled it, it looks like they just kind of copied it and changed some things just for the outfit, but for the overall take, and they just cut corners for time's sake. That's what it looks like to me. I could be wrong. I don't know fully what they were doing, but to me, like if you look at them back and forth, they look very similar. Like that whole neck twist is the same, is 100% the same to me.
Yeah, it does look pretty close as we go back and forth.
The body and the head, like the mouth, how it's twisted, is like opposite on each head. But I mean, in the abdomen part is a little different, I guess, for the outfit thing. But the whole point of the creature is it's a skinwalker, right? So skinwalkers have existed in folklore for centuries, right? Am I mistaken in that?
That is my understanding.
So to say that skinwalkers that were made up in folklore centuries ago are transphobic in of themselves in today's world, I am failing to see the logic in it. And trust me, I'm an ally. I'll defend it if I see fit. But I mean, I don't know about this. And Chris, do you have those other pictures already? Yes. Yeah, and this one right here, it did show other killers in similar ways, since they're saying they're so grotesque and it's a play on transphobia. Like, just show you the wow. This one's like a mix of like disformed killer archetypes. This is the doctor. He has very heavily body modifications and metal all up in him. It's weird. He shocks you. I don't know what. It's a whole creature thing. And if you go to the next one, which is the alien-looking thing, this is Huxley, as people call him. I forget what the actual term, like
the singularity.
The singularity, but it also is like Hux 07 or something like that. People just call him Huxley. Yeah. It's like some designation from the lore. But yeah, it's a whole biomass of futuristic AI that took over and made its own body, kind of like Ultron was, but it was trying to make it of flesh and metal and fuse into one, but that was a whole thing of the lore. So you see, this goes to the other side of it, just being completely non-humanoid at all, just a creature. And if you go to the next one, the Legion, which is just a human, and the Legion is special too because it's actually 4 different people depending upon the costumes you choose. It could be Frank. Help me out, Bachman.
It's Frank, Susie, Julie, and I can't think of the other guy's name.
Yeah, I can't think of it either. Yeah, so the different skins you choose are the different people, and they all have different voices and stuff. So this wide assortment of killers in the game, and you're saying this one right here is, I'm not seeing it. I'm sorry. I don't see it.
I feel like they need to have a conversation with who's the company that makes this
behavior. And my last point, I guess, on this would be before you move on is
sorry.
No, you're good. So and you're saying the whole point of it is the character looks twisted and grotesque. That's your problem. Not the problem that they're killing people. They're a killer. They go around killing people. That's not the issue. The problem is what they look like. That's where I'm seeing the disconnect, and where my logic is like, that's broken. You come on now. If that's okay, but that's not, then what are we doing here? Like, you're getting your morals all jumbled around, and you're not looking past it.
I think we need to be.
That's just my opinion. I don't want anyone to.
Yeah. I think we need to be careful here to not discount how they feel. They feel how they feel because of everything that happened. Personally, I feel like there should have been a conversation, maybe even just to describe the lore once, and maybe that's part of why the tweet's been deleted. I don't know. Maybe that conversation did take place to be like, whoa, this isn't at all what we intended. Here's the thought behind how we modeled that character, so they could have that conversation to describe what's going on here. I feel like this is something that probably could have been communicated between the actor and the company.
I'm glad you brought that up,
and potentially would have saved everyone a lot of frustration on all fronts.
Fair enough. Further quote, because I'm glad you brought up communication. On March 14th, the voice actor clarified her initial statement about the unknown, writing, this is quotes from here on, "I wasn't kept in the loop with what the character's final look would be. I was given an ambiguous description for the part, and even though I tried my best to find out, continually asking for more info, that wasn't possible. This is why I was upset. The skins themselves were never the issue. Lack of communication was."
Okay,
and I hear
fair.
that, but that just goes against when you said earlier, behavior interactive of basing the character on her own trans. You said they base it on your trans identity. But you're saying now that's not the issue. So which is it?
I think it's very tough for us to be able to put ourselves in her shoes because we have not lived the life with the kind of terrible interactions that some people probably give and things like that to them.
And I do want to say that I do fully understand not being able to put out the proper, what your proper feelings and thoughts are. I do understand that.
Yeah.
This is probably one of them. I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't think there should be hate here because I'm not seeing any hate. If I saw that behavior was doing it on purpose and maliciously, I'd be like, yeah, hey, fuck you for doing that. 100%.
To me, it doesn't look like behavior was trying to do anything that would be harmful emotionally or to call the actors' life experiences into question with how they portrayed that character. It sounds to me like the voice actor was given, hey, here's kind of what's going on. We didn't have the models done or anything like that. They high level discussed what was going on, and there was some surprise when the final version was seen. I don't think. To me, from what you've described, just skimming online to see what's been going on with this, I don't think there was malicious intent in anything. I just think there was a failure to communicate between both parties.
On that part too, how much communication does a voice actor and have in there? I don't know. I don't know, especially how that company works.
Yeah, and we're not in the business, so I don't think that we're going to be able to know there, but.
If it makes you feel better, I like the voice acting of the unknown. It's great. It's freaky because it does what it's supposed to do. Like that's what it was supposed to do, and it does it well. Like it's fun to go against because they leave like little hallucinations of their whatever character they're using, whatever the body skin. It leaves it there, and it does talk as you walk by it, even though the killer isn't technically there. And it's good. I like it. They did a good job, I think, but I mean that's not a part of the controversy, though.
I hope that they can just have a sit down with the studio at some point in time, or with someone there, just to kind of iron everything out and make sure that everyone's comfortable.
I don't know how much input do voice. I mean, you're hired to do a thing. You're not hired for like being a writer to put input on. So I mean, unless I was part of it, I don't know. I just don't know how much a voice actor has an input in like a fully designed character at end. I don't know how much.
Well, so behavior, it's at least 3 different levels too, because you got the like unknown voice actors doing killers that are their own IP. Then you've got the Chin doing Ash Williams in Dead by Daylight. So it's a version of that character. And then at probably the highest level, you have Nicolas Cage playing Nicolas Cage in Dead by Daylight, where you can be damn sure he had, like final cut on everything. And so, yeah, they've got like even levels in the game of people doing voice work for them.
So, I mean, once again, if I saw hate there, I would definitely be behind you. But I can't see with the and that's why I also showed off all the other skins and the other characters to put context to everything, so you can see like, oh, so all these things are there, so you see why I don't think there's like any hate from the company, if that makes sense.
Malicious intent, yeah. Chris,
you're muted.
Again, we should also bear in mind we're seeing this from our perspective,
yeah,
and our perspectives are different.
Yeah.
So I think we need to respect the fact that she's coming from a different point of view on things, and maybe that's coloring things in a way that we can't understand, which is why I'll harp on it. I think the simplest thing here is just some communication. I don't know necessarily how that should or should not have worked, but at this point, there's obviously some disconnect there. Just have a conversation between the actor and a representative of the company or whoever to be like, look, this wasn't our intent. We didn't want you to feel like this was something targeting you or anything like that, because I don't think it was. I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. But that's just, me. I do also have some tweets from other people too to kind of see what the community is also saying. Let's see. Oh no, that's a bad one. Oh no.
There's probably a lot of bad ones on there because people find ways to pile on and be assholes on things.
Well, I mean, this is also kind of more echoey chamber of what Maya already stated, but I'll try and find another one that's also. But this
your other problem is you're on Twitter for it too, which is kind of.
Well, someone shared these with me before, and I was like, okay, I can see. Well, you'll see some things. Yeah, people these are kind of nicer. People using the unknown skins as a way of spreading transphobia is just baffling to me. It's not a trans person. Hell, it's not even a person. It's a creature that steals the voice and appearance of its victims, regardless of their identity. That's all they say. Yeah, I see that. It's not a person. It's a creature. It was never designed to be a person. And people are saying like, well, that's a twisted trans person. Like, but it's not a person. We're not saying trans people are not people. We're saying that you're saying is a trans person is not what you're saying it is. That's it.
Yeah, because I thought the unknown was closer. It was closer to the dredge than it is like a killer.
The
dredge. The dredge is literally body parts. Like it's literally just body parts crushed together. Yeah, the way I read it was the unknown was basically like slightly closer to humanoid than that, but not much. Yeah, it's bones and skin moving around making weird noises. Yeah,
straight from the Native American folk tales from long centuries ago. Like it's been a thing for centuries. So saying all of a sudden that this is we already been through that. I'm not gonna. I feel like I'm just spinning tires, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to be mean either. I'm not trying.
And I think we should be clear that no one's trying to speak from any position. And I'm going to sound like a broken record here of trying to tell anyone how to feel on anything.
Hold on a second. I've been a jerk here. Let me say the voice actress's name because that's dumb not to say. Shoot. Blah, blah, blah. How come no one's saying it? How come this isn't?
Willie is saying this to properly credit them, not to have people dogpile.
Just to
clarify if anyone is out of context jumping into this part of the show.
Yeah, because I want to say I'm a fan. That's what I want to say. Is like I thought they did a great job. That's what I want to say. I'm trying to find it. Why is there not just an easy answer?
Because it can never be.
All
easy.
Right, Zoe Alexandria is the first thing that looks like is the right thing. Yep, that is Zoe Alexandria. Yep. Oh, that's I'm glad I didn't use that website because that's a sentence. That's a bias. That's just a biased look down there.
I'm sure
they just straight up have a side. I'm just saying I don't think there's really any side to this because I don't think it's really an issue because no one's hating on anyone. That's all. I just don't want anyone to hate anyone. But life is la vie. Pardon my French.
I should also clarify, don't play Dead by Daylight here. So really my only grasp and understanding of is what you guys have described to me. So I'm not sure if that's good or bad for the opinions that I shared.
Sorry if I was a little long-winded in it. That's what I've been thinking of, and it was like, well, that's it. Before any of the controversy, when I first heard that it was a trans voice actor, I was like, oh, that's a cool little trivia tidbit. And that's all I really thought of it. Didn't have any other thoughts about it until I saw the controversy. I was like, oh, what is going on? And then that's like, I thought it was just a fun little trivia thing. Like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, awesome. But yeah. Dead by Daylight news, controversy, blah.
I get the feeling, Kent, you're probably in the same boat as me, which is I don't play the damn game. So
I'm sorry. Let's go back to Star Wars then, so I can roll back. Oh, you want to talk wrestling? All right, sure.
Yeah, we're gonna move on to wrestling.
Hold on. I was just making sure everyone had a chance to weigh in on the topic, Willie.
I know.
Well, I could always use my anthropology degree and go, Yeah, creature, Native American, who also had their own form of trans. And did anybody ever? Hey, you've got a cat on the screen. And did anybody ever discuss?
Careful, it's not good.
Anybody ever talk to a Native American about? Hey, would this be offensive saying that? Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we know the answer to that. Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like saying the witch from Hansel and Gretel can be seen as controversial if something comes out with that. Like, this is from centuries ago, man. Why are we being angry at this now? Like,
yeah.
Rage bait.
I mean, I think the key takeaway as we get off the topic is that I don't think anything was done purposefully to harm or hurt anyone or to reflect upon someone's experiences. Like I mentioned, and I know I sound like a broken record, just because I don't want to get quoted out of context and be one of those people on the internet. I don't think anything was done on purpose here that couldn't be fixed with just some frank, honest conversation between the infected parties.
I guess.
At least I would hope so. I don't know. Again, I can't put myself in that position to feel like she feels because we have very different life experiences, obviously. I can't wait to see how that gets clips and twisted so that I become rage bait on the internet.
Hey, let's make it better. Let's have like an after school special moment to end it with, to a point that was brought up, but isn't the point. Guys, make sure in life that you try to share what's going on inside you more than you can. No, more than you do. There it is. There, see, I'm having trouble right now. It happens. There's a kitty in my lap. I got distracted.
Yeah,
words are tough.
The cat distracted me. That's what I'm going to say. At least
we need to do like the more you know bit. That's just words are hard.
Talk difficult.
Try and say peripheral.
Me do podcasts and not talk good.
Why say more word when less
Chris.
do trick? Thank you, Office.
Well, I mean, look, in all honesty, some things are hard to talk about just because you want to make sure that you're not misunderstood, and it's tough. I mean, we've been doing this podcast for 500 plus episodes, and you've got a podcast right now with all four people who've on this have done hundreds of podcasts of our own. It's tough sometimes finding the right way to communicate things, and I guarantee you that if it is communicated poorly, people can often infer that something is meant that is not intended. So if you have a question on what someone says about something, please don't automatically expect that it's the worst. Ask for clarification, because it could just be someone speaking poorly or speaking ignorantly with not knowing the full story of things. That's all. Help make us better people by telling us where we went wrong if we said something.
In my part of the country, it's
yeah. I live in West Virginia. I get it.
If
All right.
someone's doing something that you don't like, let them know. Do not hold it in, because then they might be like, oh, I didn't know that was hurting you. I'm sorry. I won't do it anymore. But if you hold it in, they won't know, and they can't, and they probably won't stop because they don't know. But
I will say this just from my perspective. I try to be respectful of everyone. I just don't always know if I say something ignorant that is not so. So please tell me so. I know that can also be an awkward conversation to have to tell someone that, but at least in my case, if I say something incorrectly, talk to me about it, because I probably didn't mean it in the way it's getting taken, is one of the things I would like to say. And yes, I know we sound like we're being, we weighed in on a topic that's tough to discuss. And I just want to make sure that no one thinks that we were trying to belittle anyone's feelings, thoughts, anything on that. We're just trying to weigh in with opinion and try to be understanding of all sides and not be shitty humans talking about it. I don't know. Does that make sense?
sometimes you can't avoid being a shitty human.
Yeah, look at behavior. They're Quebecois. Bunch of shitty humans.
Although, I mean, Canada's one of my favorite maps on that game.
Is there maple syrup?
No, but there is a ski cabin.
Yes.
And it's a fun ski cabin.
All right, let's get to lighter-hearted stuff. Not necessarily lighter-hearted, but things where I'm less afraid I'll say the wrong thing by accident and offend someone by mistake. How about that? Bachman, why don't you tell us what you got for us this week?
We got Say It Once, Say It Twice. From a Hollywood Reporter article, the first Beatlejuice trailer brings Jenna Ortega into the ghastly family. From an Aaron Couch article from today at 2:04 p.m., Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder return to the series after 36 years. So they just released the teaser trailer. Beetlejuice is back in the first trailer for Beetlejuice, Tim Burton's sequel that took nearly 40 years to haunt theaters. Jenna Ortega stars in Beetlejuice. They put it in there multiple times. With Michael Keaton back as the grotesque ghost, Winona Ryder returning as Lydia Dietz, who is now a mother to Ortega's character. Catherine O'Hara also returns with Willem Dafoe, Justin Theroux, and Monica Bellucci joining the franchise. So if you haven't seen the teaser trailer, you got to go watch it. It looks amazing. Arrived September 6th, has taken a long road to get to the screen. The first film released in 1988 when I was 10 years old. Remains a comedy horror classic, has continued on the pop culture consciousness since its release. Beetlejuice, I think, just popped up at the Halloween Horror Nights in Universal 1 or 2 years ago. It's still showing up quite often. Won the Oscar for Best Makeup and earned $80 million on a $15 million budget. The artist that won that Oscar for Best Makeup, V. Neal, was one of the hosts and leads of the show Face Off on Sci-Fi Channel. So if you ever watched Sci-Fi and wondered why that one old lady was such a badass, it's because she's the one that made Beetlejuice.
Is she back for the...
I don't know.
So
I'll bet she's got to be at least contributing to it somehow.
I would hope so. While you're discussing that, the picture on screen right now, if you're viewing the live stream, this is Michael Keaton in 1988 as Beetlejuice. This next picture, that's him in 2024.
Yeah,
as Beetlejuice, and he looks the same. It looks cool,
so good. And the other things I was noticing too is I hadn't even thought about it. Like, what was the name of the sequel going to be? The first movie's called Beetlejuice. The second movie's called Beetlejuice. What's the third movie going to be called? Beetlejuice.
Two Beetlejuice twice.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do the third movie.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
and the fourth one is called It's Showtime.
Maybe. But yeah, I love the fact in the movie, they say it 3 times, he shows up, and they're literally doing the sequel is just the name again. That's awesome. We got Beetlejuice coming to the theater. We got the Ghostbusters coming. I'm gonna go watch Roadhouse when we're done here. It's 1989 all over again, man. It's just my childhood. It's all been brought back. I love it.
Yeah, my childhood. Let's see. We've got a Beetlejuice movie, and we've got an X-Men cartoon.
Oh yeah, X-Men cartoon, Ghostbusters movie
coming up,
Alien movie. Yeah, it's a good time to be a nerd again. I love it.
That also had one of my favorite gags in Community was when they said Beetlejuice 3 times. Yeah, and a Star Wars cartoon.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, the fact, I want to think it was Dan Harmon wrote that in specifically. There were 3 Beetlejuice references, and when the third time it said, he walks through the background. That is a long con joke right there. You got to be a hardcore fan of something to write a joke like that. Because wasn't it 1 mention per season for the first 3 years?
Yes,
I think
it was 3 seasons it took to do it.
So it took 3 seasons to tell 1 joke that really had nothing to do with the show. It was just because Dan Harmon thought it was funny. That's awesome.
And for those
Beetlejuice, and we're getting Jenna Ortega. How awesome is that?
That's the payoff. In an episode, in the bottle episode they reference Jeff's Beetlejuice striped boxers, and then in the background you can see a guy that's dressed in with makeup that looks like Beetlejuice walk by. That's the gag they took 3 seasons to set up. I love it. It's great.
It's fantastic. Yeah, we're getting more Beetlejuice. We're getting more Michael Keaton. Jenna Ortega is still on the top of the world. That little girl is one of the coolest actresses ever. Her Wednesday is fantastic. Her Scream movie was great. Now she's Lydia Deese's daughter. Hell yes. I can't wait to see this movie. And yeah, we need more Michael Keaton. He's getting up there. We need more Michael Keaton on screen as much as we can get.
He's also Batman.
Well, hell yeah.
I need to watch this trailer. Full disclosure, I didn't realize it was out until I popped on and looked at the show notes and went, son of a bitch, there's a trailer. And this is 2 weeks in a row where it's, Chris, your head was up your ass and you missed a trailer for something cool we're going to discuss.
It happens. Well, we talked about another one too. You haven't seen the Alien Romulus trailer, which looks so good.
You want me to blaspheme? I don't really care about Alien.
Okay, that is blasphemy. That's awful.
Yeah.
That's one of the. How often does a franchise have one of the greatest scary movies and one of the greatest action films in the same franchise? That doesn't happen very often. Like,
See,
that's
I don't
impressive.
The kicker is, though, I don't really like scary movies that much. So that's probably why it's never really done much for me. Like the action, I appreciate it. Ripley being a badass, I appreciate it. But
she is a final girl.
I mean, Sigourney Weaver's badass. It's just all there is to it.
Indeed, she is. But that's what I had. Nice and simple.
A nice and short one.
Yep.
That's okay. It lets us start wrapping things up. And a friendly reminder, how we wrap up this show is we do a little segment called What I'm Into. It's our chance to share with you fine folks watching live or listening at a later date just what geeky and nerdy things that we've all been getting into that are on the panel tonight, so that we can kind of entice you all into maybe checking them out, or at least talk about some stuff that we're enjoying. And I'm going to go first just because that's what I do. I always take the first spot. That's what I do.
We start top left, right?
Yeah, we'll go clockwise around. How's that work? That way Willie can finish things up for us.
Well, you did it counterclockwise. You got to go clockwise.
Well, it's clockwise to me, but the camera shows it differently because of
I know that's why you need to know stage left.
I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to, Willie.
Okay. Just remember, if we were in Australia, you'd be going the correct way.
That's true. We would be. So I'll go first. Stuff I'm going to get into. I teased at the top of the show. Watched the first 2 episodes of X-Men 97. I found them quite delightful. If you are a Cyclops fan, boys, we're eating good. If you're a Cyclops fan, he gets some really cool moments in the first 2 episodes.
Fans?
Yeah, man. I like Cyclops.
Yeah.
I think we got to see in X-Men 97 the first time outside of the comics where someone remembers, oh yeah, Cyclops' powers aren't laser beams from the eyes. They're concussive force blasts that come from his eyes. Mm-hmm. So there's cool stuff he can do with them. Like, shoot and push himself around a room with optic blasts. There's some really neat stuff. I don't want to talk anymore that would give spoilers. X-Men 97 is great. They updated the classic opening credits where the music is mostly the same. They added new characters to the credits. And if you saw the very last scene from the credits that we're used to, where you have the X-Men facing off with Magneto's Brotherhood, they changed the mutants that are in that lineup now. So for instance, Jean Grey is now on the X-Men side, never was before. And if you look on the right side with the Brotherhood, or the evil side, now the White Queen is there, for instance. She wasn't there before. So they tweaked things and changed things, but kept it pretty faithful to the original credits that we'd seen before. And you can go and see there's people who have done side-by-side comparisons of the X-Men credits. They purposely went out of their way to make it very, very close to what we had in the original cartoon. And I dig it. And they made the smart move of not changing that song one iota, because it is almost perfect.
My only question is, how does the art style mesh up?
I think it does pretty well. It's a lot smoother now, but they also at sometimes kind of try to call back to the older art style with some of the stuff they've done too.
Okay.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I figured they weren't going to try to make it Into the Spider-Verse, like some brand new technique. I figured they'd try to mimic it a little bit at least. Yeah, I wondered how the art style was going to mesh up.
The fight scenes in it are great. I really enjoyed them a lot. So that was fun. So I've been watching X-Men 97, and because I got shamed into it on one of the other Discords I'm on because I was so far behind, and because they were excitedly talking about season 2 of this show, I picked up the Halo series on Paramount Plus again. And after having taken a break for a while, I'm having a lot of fun with it. You just have to remember when you're watching it that this is Halo from not the video game universe, but inspired by the video game universe. And then you're kind of okay with things. You get to see some cool stuff of a Spartan running through and just beating the absolute shit out of his alien enemies and stuff like that. And I watched in this last week 3 episodes of Halo season 1. I'm getting close to the end of season 1. And I think the season 2 finale just came out today on Paramount Plus. So I got a lot of good Halo goodness to go back and get caught up on. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Is it fun? Absolutely. I'm having fun with it. Pablo Schreiber is really enjoyable as the Master Chief. You just have to keep in mind that there's a reason that they cast good looking dudes so they can take the helmet off, and Master Chief is constantly taking his helmet off in the Halo series. And so you're someone who played the games, you're like, this dude never takes his helmet off. What the hell? It's very contrary to what the Mandalorian does, where the Mandalorian like takes his helmet off twice. In this one, it's Master Chief's helmet is off unless he's in combat, basically, is what they've set it up.
Are we counting that first one, the first season where he eats and you don't see his face, you see the helmet getting set on the table?
I guess we can count that too.
Because I mean, then still you don't see. I mean, the other one's when the robot making a whole thing of it. It's a whole plot point, though.
And then when he takes it off for Grogu.
Oh yeah. Oh, is that third season?
No, it's season
Spoiler
2.
asshole.
Or 1. No, it's season 1 when he says no 2. I didn't know you were that far behind. I'm sorry.
I'm only season 3. I don't know. I don't have
you've
a
already
memory
seen
of
it.
everything that happens. I don't remember if he does that.
Then I didn't spoil you for shit.
I know.
Stop trying to make me feel
it was
bad.
fake anger.
God, trying to make me feel bad. I didn't deserve that.
I told you I'm an asshole.
That's fair. Other stuff I've been getting into. Been playing the New Game Plus on Spider-Man 2 on PS5. Been enjoying that. So now when my Peter gets the black suit, instead of wearing the black suit they give you in game, I'm wearing the comic book black suit. And it's pretty fun. I don't want to say much else because I don't want to spoil the game because I know Bachman hasn't played it yet, but it's kind of fun being able to change out the suits as you're doing the story. So at one point I was black suit Spider-Man wearing the Raimi black suit from Spider-Man 3. And that was pretty fun too.
Nice.
Using symbiote powers coming off the suit. So like you'd get the symbiote rushing off and punching things for me. And I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. Now the trade-off is you could also just wear the red suit and still use all those symbiote powers too if you wanted. When you play the game the first time through, you're pretty much stuck to the black suit. But when you play it on New Game Plus, you can change to any of the suits that you've unlocked.
So if you put on a red suit, does the symbiote still come out of you as black?
Yes.
Okay, that's kind of weird.
There is a toggle where you can change the symbiote suit color, and that is all I'm going to say.
Okay.
But you can only change it to 2 colors.
Oh, well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. What else have we getting into? I don't know. I think that's really the major stuff. There's probably other stuff. I need the advice of the internet there, folks. If you have a sit to stand desk or you've been looking them up, send me some suggestions for brands that I should look at. Since it looks like telework is going to continue to be a regular thing for me, I'm kind of thinking about redoing my office space a little bit to get a sit to stand desk and kind of taking this current L-shaped desk, spinning it 90 degrees, and then putting the sit to stand desk pretty much in the same position you see me seated at now, so that I could stand some during the day. If you guys have any suggestions, send them to me on the social media, the Chris Farrell on Threads. And if you at me on Twitter, I will see it when I check Twitter every couple of days or so. I'm really only on Twitter for the most part to self-promote shamelessly my projects. That's what I've been getting into. I'm going to transition things over to Bachman. How about yourself, sir?
Also doing a slight update to my desk. I showed the guys in the pre-show. So I've been working on this little dry erase board from a little Spider-Man kit that I think I may have gotten it by comic book store. I'm not even sure where I got it. This is where I've been tracking my the Warhammer projects I'm working on, and then I've had to use the back of it for like when I put messages up when I'm in a meeting or something for my work at home, so that the wife or the kid doesn't come in. And so I actually went out today and finally got myself a nice big 11 by 17. So this is going to go up next to where I'm sitting, next to me, over next to my art desk, so I can much more easily keep track of the stuff I'm working on and not be worried about, wiping everything off when I just randomly touch it. And then, yeah, this can just go back to being just a door sign. With the Warhammer, I had finished up my buddy Colin's Drukari elf for his kill team, the Hand of Archon. I was going back and forth between painting 4 or 5 other figures and just thought it would be fun the other day. So my wife had got me the Plague Burst tank. My mother-in-law got me the Plague Marines. So I have a box of 7 of these guys. I put the first one together, and he's just a spiky little mean-looking guy with like teeth coming out across his gut. Like they're so just grotesque and covered in spikes. I love them. Like the Plague Marines are just fantastic. I've also been working on a contest for I think it's pronounced Poor Zinch. So Zinch is one of the chaos gods in Warhammer. There's a Instagram account of a guy named Poor Zinch who has been doing a contest for the word bearers. So if you have any type of word bearer or word bearer character, We're doing work in progress photos, and at the end of the month, he's going to collect them all together when everybody puts up their last one, and then do like community voting for a painting contest. So I went back to working on my Dark Apostle, which, yeah, they got the little tiny head on a stick, which, I mean, the camera's never going to focus on that. But yeah, I got his little tiny head there. And then, yeah, this is it's a figure a lot of people have seen. So it's the character holding like the flaming book. His backpack has like candles and like flames going across it. There we go. And then, yeah, big like beat him over the head stick. He's covered in skulls and spikes. And then, yeah, mine's a word bearer. So once I'm done with the red and everything, I'll end up adding on some text and then like a flaming skull on probably his left shoulder. So I got to the end of the month to finish him, having a blast putting him together. He's just fun as hell to paint. And yeah, like a guy that's got, a flaming backpack covered in like, the melting candles and the little scrolls. And he's got, his flaming book and the wax dripping off of it. It's just a ridiculous amount of detail on such a small figure, but he's super fun. So I've been enjoying the hell out of painting him. And then, the wife got me something that she had to, she got a little bit some of them in today. After I opened them, I held off all weekend to make my first work day of the week more fun. I've been sitting here eating this giant bag of turtle chips. I had never had turtle chips, so we went on our honeymoon in Hawaii, and while we were there, I ate like 2 full bags of them. These are like the best things ever. And she found these, I think, at Costco the other day. She's like, honey, I found more turtle chip. They're delicious. It's like a chocolate croissant, like shrunk down into a little crunchy ball. Like the texture of it is just amazing. And they have them in weird flavors like sweet corn and sour cream and onion. But yeah, these ones are chocolate churro turtle chips. I held off all weekend. I didn't open them until I started work today. I've eaten half the bag.
Oh no.
They're delicious. Like, I'm like, woman, you just made me gain 5 pounds. Thank you. Like, they're just so good. Yeah. If you ever see turtle chips anywhere, give them a try. They're delicious. They're one of my favorite things like that we found in Hawaii while we were there. And then the last thing I've been getting into, because the only little bit of video game playing I've been doing is No Man's Sky. I'm like 50 hours in already on my new account because it's just the most relaxing game. I can put a podcast in, go fly out and do an asteroid belt and just do some mining for an hour. And like, I don't have to worry about combat. I don't have to worry about any other players. It's just relaxing. And I mean, if I don't want to do story, I don't have to do story at all. Like, it's kind of nice to have a game like that again. And I missed it. And I didn't realize how much I missed it till I just put like 10 hours in this weekend playing it. Like, I freaking love No Man's Sky. But other than that, I had a nice mail call today where I had something show up from, was it Zoop? So it was one of the Kickstarter alternatives. You may have seen on Instagram, I posted a photo of a guy wearing a shirt that says "Draw like you, not like them," which is Jason Copeland, who has a very unique art style. He did a book back in the day called "Kill All Monsters," which we supported pretty big here on the podcast. Is just an awesome book. It was giant robots punching giant monsters, like in between the Pacific Rim films. It was a great in between. He had decided to work on his own book and like had a good story in mind. And I think if I remember reading in the intro, it started as like a 128-page kind of Sin City-esque noir thriller. What he ended up producing and getting like funded on his campaign was a 300-page hardcover. So he finally got it printed, shipped over from China, and they arrived today. So I finally got my Jason Copeland full tilt, and it is a beast. Like, this thing is huge. It's 300 pages of comic goodness, and like, I am just super excited to read it. Like, the book itself is beautiful. It's that black and white tints of red on the cover, but the whole interior is just black and white. It's a gorgeous book, and it's just, I've been so looking forward to it. Jason Copeland's just got a great art style. Just type in full tilt on the Google search and you'll find it. It's gorgeous looking. I don't know if you can buy extra copies off the Zoop, but I got mine, so I'm happy. And yeah, it had I got a little mini print inside of it of one of the badass characters, so like chopping off a dude's head. So yeah, it's a crazy ass fun book. But yeah, this just arrived like as I was finishing work today, so I got that to read tonight after I go watch Roadhouse. So I'm gonna go watch Roadhouse and have dinner. We got tacos waiting. That's what I'm getting into. Yeah. Oh,
Well-
I just slapped you.
Next up, we'll toss things over to our guest this week, also coincidentally the birthday boy. So happy birthday. We won't sing you the song because we'll get sued or we'll get a takedown notice or not. But Kent, what you been getting into, sir?
Oh, I call called X-Men this morning. For that. No, that was it. I've been haven't been painting as much Warhammer as I should be, theoretically. Playing a lot of BattleTech. We have a Wednesday group that meets for that. This week is Adepticon, and there were a bunch of announcements for Warhammer.
I
and
totally
there's
forgot
actually
about that.
some
That should have been my
BattleTech
news of the
announcements
week.
going on too. So. Yeah, I mean, I've seen two different interviews with Stackpool up there. So, well, he's getting pulled aside to do a bunch of stuff. There was something that dropped that the whole Macross license, I guess. Not
Anime?
Robotech, Macross. Yeah. They're getting all the anime for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
We have just convinced Willie to subscribe to Disney Plus.
Oh, not at all. I don't know much about Macross. I just
Okay.
remember it was a thing that
Yeah.
Sci-Fi showed when they did a little bit of anime stuff back in the late 90, like 99 to early 2000s. They for just a little tiny bit in Saturdays. They did a little bit of anime stuff, and that's how I got introduced a little bit. And Macross was I remember seeing it, but I never got into it.
Yeah. So, alongside my BattleTech playing, I've gone to the 3D printer, and I think I've invented a new thing. You've heard of shit posting before. This is called shit 3D printing, where you just do stuff like, it's the Herbie mech, the Urban Mech Herbie version. Or last week's
Awesome.
triumphant appearance, the Ides of March Herbie. We're gonna go stab Caesar now.
I love shit printing.
I mean, if we're gonna live our life, be like Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I'm gonna go make some weird shit. I mean, yeah, making weird shit is
what you're
supposed to do.
Let's do stupid shit. But then there's the serious stuff, like just making a giant size version of that. Nothing technically humorous about it. So I found a meme that I don't know if I can repeat here. So, what else have I got going on? Oh, next week, though, turns out the line developer for BattleTech is coming to town because he's doing a mini Midwest tour as soon as Adepticon's over. So he's hitting a bunch of stores in the area, namely like a 3-state area around Chicago. So I may end up with a list of questions and just go, here, let's turn this into an interview. Everybody else in the room, shut up. You have no journalistic abilities. I'm the one who's been on hundreds of podcasts. You guys shut up. But besides that, not quite as much as I want to be because work sucks me. Also, I have a dog that interferes every time I try and do anything.
Been there.
So, Willie?
Mr. Nelson, why don't you finish things up for us, sir? What you been getting into?
It's just It's just very sad. I mean, I haven't done much besides Dead by Daylight. It came back into form, and I've been playing a lot more. I don't know why. It's just been there. Blood Bowl 3, which I think we mentioned a couple weeks ago, I was waiting for it to go on sale. I put it on like a wish list on PlayStation to see when it would go on sale. And it did go on sale, but it was also announced last week that it was also going to be part of PlayStation Extra, which is kind of like the Game Pass type thing, equivalent, kind of, but not nowhere near as much. But yeah, but it was on there, and I was like, I have PlayStation Extra, so I've given it a try and played. I'm going through the campaign with my orc team, and it's pretty fun. I only played it for a handful of time, so yeah, it's going good. I finished off the first season of Barry, and I'm not gonna lie, it really feels like the last bit of it was like should have been like the first part of the second season. It was weird that's how they ended it, but if they were going into the with the eyes of saying we're not sure if we're getting a season 2, then I can understand them ending it like that. Oh, in season 1, yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, it is a good ending if it is standalone. So I haven't started the second season yet, so I don't know where it's going to go. And also, I'm not telling you any plot points of what I'm even mentioning. So you figure it out by watching it. That's your job.
You can't give me homework.
All right,
He keeps
Fifth Element.
trying, though. He keeps trying.
I know. You're not my real dad.
No, I'm not.
Well, I'll call you
yeah.
Pops. I'll call you Pops if you want. Do you want me to call you
No.
Pops? Okay.
No, it just hurts more. The pain is real. The joke is minimalist.
Minimalist. Oh, I'll take it.
My joke, not yours.
Whatever. I don't care.
But that's all I've been getting into. So
You hurt my heart. You hurt my heart.
I'm sorry.
There's a cat here now. All right. Well, on that note, we are going to start shutting things down here in just a second. Friendly reminder before we do that right now we are streaming this show live every Thursday over at GonnaGeek.com/live. That is the streaming home of the Gonna Geek Network. While you are there on that website watching us, please go check out some of the other great content on the network. There's a ton of cool shows. We'd really love you guys to go check it out and let them know that we sent you. But before I shut this down, I do want to say, first of all, thank you, Kent, for coming to join us. Coming to join us on your birthday. So thanks for letting us hang out with you on the anniversary of your cycling the sun.
Yeah.
But the question I have for everyone here before I shut down this stream, does anyone have anything left that they want to share with the people?
Die fast, assholes. My pizza's getting cold.
Well, if it's
No. Sorry. I'm looking at this photograph. See, minimalist.
Photograph the pizza.
I hate you all again now that we're back on the photograph. On that note, then, we are going to shut things down. Thank you so much, everyone who did join us, and we will see you all next week. Thanks for listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at live.atgnpodcast.com, channel 3 of the Alpha Geek Radio app, and over at our network home at GonnaGeek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us atgnpodcast@GonnaGeek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGN Podcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at Incompetech.com.